Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to give an overview on the email to case functionality available in Salesforce. In Salesforce, cases can be created automatically from emails sent to designated email addresses. You've likely done this at some point in your life if you ever sent a company an email to get support for a product or service you've purchased. There are two types of email to case functionalities available in Salesforce. There's the standard email to case, and there's an on-demand email to case. So to demonstrate how email to case works, from the setup menu, we're going to type in the quick find box email to case and then click on email to case. So as you can see from this page, it gives you a quick overview of what email to case is. I encourage you to read over this. I'm just going to click continue. So from this page, this is where we set up the email to case functionality. Before we start editing anything, I just wanted to point out this yellow box notification that says after you enable email to case, you can't disable it, but you can update these settings. So I'm going to click edit. So before we make any selections, I think it's important for you to understand the differences between email to case and on-demand email to case. One of the main differences between the two is that with email to case, you have to download email to case software in order to utilize it. Whereas with on-demand email to case, you don't have to download any software. Another difference between the two is that with email to case, you can have larger attachments with each email that comes in. Whereas with on-demand email to case, it's typically utilized for smaller attachments, and there are limitations. The final difference that I wanted to note between the two is that with email to case, there is a daily limitation on the amount of emails that can be converted to a case. But with on-demand email to case, that daily limit is much higher. So if you work for a company that has a high volume of email to case, that would typically be the option you would want to select. So to get started with the selections, I'm going to first check off the enable email to case. For the rest of these checkboxes, I'm going to leave in the default settings. The next section, send email from cases. These two checkboxes we're also going to leave with the default selection. Essentially, this thread ID is used to track the correspondence, aka who the email is coming from. If we move on to on-demand service, we're going to check off the enable on-demand service box, and then we're going to leave everything else in the default setting and click save. Now that we've enabled the email to case settings, I'm next going to show you how you can set this up for a real company. For the purpose of this video, we're going to use a fake company called DTM Fitwear, where the routing address that the customer sends the emails to is going to be dtmfitwear@gmail.com. So to do this, under the routing address section, we're going to click new. For the routing name, we're going to call it tech support. And for the email address, we're going to do dtmfitwear@gmail.com. You can create a task from an email, but we're going to leave this unchecked. For the new cases that are created via the email to case setup, you can assign them to a user or to a queue. I'm going to keep it on user for this example, but it is more common for larger organizations to have multiple users in a queue so that all the cases are assigned to a queue and the various support staff can get assigned via that queue. I'm going to click on this little search button, and the user that I want these cases assigned to is going to be Elon Bezos. We're going to make the case priority high. And for case origin, we're going to select email and then click save, then click OK. So from here, the next step is I'm going to need to verify the email that we set up. So to do so, I'm going to navigate to Gmail. And then from the email that you received from Salesforce, we're going to click on this link to confirm. So as you can see, we're prompted with thank you for verifying the email routing address. We're going to click continue. So this brings us back to Salesforce. I'm actually going to go back to the setup menu and navigate to the email to case again. So as you can see, our email address has been verified. The next step after verifying is we need to set up our email address settings to automatically forward emails received to the service address that's outlined up here. As you can see, service address for you. Since setting up automatic forwarding can be different depending on the email provider you use, I'm not going to go through that entire process. Instead of setting that automatic forwarding up, I'm going to copy this service email and manually send a test email from my Gmail account. So we'll copy this address. From Gmail, we'll compose a new email. We'll paste that service email address in here. In the subject, we'll put test email. And the email body, we'll put this is a test and then click send. So if we navigate back to Salesforce, from here, if we click on the cases tab, right now we're viewing the all open cases list view. At the top, you can see this test email. If we click on the case, You can see that the case owner is Elon Bezos. The priority is high. The web email is the dtmfitwear@gmail.com. So as you can see, the email to case functionality works successfully. So that's all I have for this video. To summarize everything, for email to case, you do need to download and install email to case software. Email to case is used for larger size attachments. And lastly, there is a limitation on the number of daily emails that can be processed. For on-demand email to case, there's no need to download and install email to case software. On-demand email to case is used for smaller sized attachments. And finally, on-demand email to case allows for a higher amount of daily emails to be processed than the regular email to case functionality. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you all for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.